name is Arno. I'm the education coordinator here at the BGCL, and I'm here with my guest, Devon. Devon, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name's Devon Becker. I actually went to high school with Arno and from Calgary, Alberta, and am now living and working in Toronto.
Awesome. And what do you do for a living, Devon?
Right now, I'm a business analyst with the financial planning and analysis group of Vale International. So it's a global base metals mining company, and we run out of Canada our base metals mining operations. So that's mining in Sudbury, Ontario, Indonesia, Valley, New Caledonia. All focused on base metals. So cobalt, copper, nickel, and those kinds of metals.
Awesome. And why did you originally get into this career?
So I actually studied environmental chemical engineering in my undergrad, and I spent some time working at the nuclear facility, the nuclear power plant here in Ontario called Darlington Nuclear Facility. And I found that I didn't really connect with the engineering work. It was a little bit slow. It was a Crown corporation, so they're doing really important work and everything's very safe and process driven, but it wasn't really exciting for me, I found. So I went back to school and did a double master's in international business and international management with Ivy Business School and HEC Paris in France. And then coming out of that, I was looking for a graduate program. So a lot of the big multinational companies run these graduate programs that give you exposure to different teams within the organization. And I passed all the rounds for the Vale one, so I ended up with it. But for mining in general, I was always interested in big engineering projects that would let me kind of combine my engineering background with some more business focus. So Vale kind of fit right in with that for me.
Awesome. And so you kind of just described a little bit what you do, but what does the day-to-day look like for that?
So pre-pandemic or post-pandemic, but pre-pandemic, I would get up, usually try and go to the gym, and then jump on the streetcar, go downtown, and go into the giant office tower, set up my work laptop. We have hoteling desks, so you sit wherever you want. And then fire up the laptop, get ready for some meetings, look at some PowerPoints, build some PowerPoint decks, work on a financial model. So looking at an opportunity, should we buy it, should we not buy it, or reviewing the financials of one of our operations. So how did we perform that month based on expectations? What were the key drivers that were causing us to be above or below expectations, and how can we kind of fix that or adjust going forward?
Awesome. And you mentioned a little bit on what type of training you needed to do, but what type of training or schooling more specifically did you do?
Yeah, so I did the engineering at Western University. It's called Green Process Engineering. I don't know that it actually exists anymore because there was only 5 of us when I graduated. So I think it's been rolled into just chemical engineering. But so yeah, the engineering for a lot of the technical understanding and kind of the mathematics background. And then I went into international business for a little bit more of the focus on soft skills and presenting and more kind of putting a professional polish on things that you're working on.
And in order to go into getting a master's in international business, do you need an engineering degree, or can any degree apply to that?
Any degree can apply to that, and it's really a similar curriculum to an undergrad degree an honors in business administration, a bachelor's in business administration. They're all pretty similar. Even the MBA program, the master's in business administration, they all kind of are very similar in their overall curriculum. They'll go at different depths or different focuses depending on your school and your speciality and your level of expertise. But no, I think business programs more broadly at most schools are pretty similar. They hit on a lot of the same fundamental concepts.
Awesome. So how did you get a job in the field? How does someone go about getting a job in this field?
Well, so I was actually, it was interesting. It was a Instagram ad for this for this trainee program, and I thought that it was a scam, honestly, the first time I looked at it, because I know now there's a lot more new grad postings on Instagram, but that was the first one that I had seen, and I thought it was a little sketchy looking. So I clicked through, I looked at the landing page, I thought it was kind of interesting, and I hadn't actually heard of Vale before that. So I went to their website and found out that they're the third largest iron ore producer on the planet, and they are an actual serious company, and that this program was real. So then I started to talk to people in the field, in the industry, which is absolutely the best way, making connections, talking to professionals in the field that you're interested in or in the role that you're interested in, and getting to know kind of the timelines for job applications, what skills they're looking for, and what you should be interested in, what you should kind of know, what would be the base knowledge expectations. So I think that's how I approached it, and that's the best way to get into really any industry. And then I would say specifically for mining, just if you want to go see a mine, talk to someone, they're always happy to show you. And it's a really cool experience. We got to go underground to 2,000 feet below surface and see the actual rock face. And yeah, it's an incredible experience. So if you get a chance, I know that there's a bit of a negative connotation with mining, but all the people at our company are working really hard to make sure it's done safely and in a proper way that manages all of the stakeholders. So if you can be part of a company that's working on that, it's a bonus.
Awesome. And what are some of the challenges that are faced in this career?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good one. Well, so obviously you have specifically for you as a person, I think there's always that pressure of technology creeping in and taking taking over more and more of your job, right? So you have to be constantly learning. We just say we're forever students, right? So you always have to be trying to take in new skills, be able to adapt to new systems and new levels of automation, because we know that those automation like trends and meta trends are coming for the white collar jobs, as well as they have for the manufacturing jobs historically. So that's something you got to be aware of, like a base level of programming and interest in how technology systems work and those kind of interactions, is how I personally see it. On a more broad scale, I think for my industry specifically, it's the stakeholders. So it's the social license to operate, which is what we call it in the industry. But historically, mining has been very destructive on the environment. There's been some bad actors that have, I want to say, pillaged the resources from local communities and not given an accurate or a reasonable return to the community, and trying to just extract the value out of them. That's changing. Governments aren't interested in that, and a lot of investors aren't interested in companies that do that for the most part. So companies are adapting, and I think there's also a shift within the companies of the workers wanting to be part of a good company, right? Everybody wants to be part of a positive place. So all of those together are really shifting the industry in a better direction, but it's a more expensive and more complicated direction. So the perfect example is the Sudbury Superstack. So I don't know if your viewers or you have ever heard of Sudbury, but back in the 80s, they used to film moon movies there because the ash that came out of the mine plants, the processing facilities, killed everything and created acid rain all around. So it was just a barren black moonscape, the entire surrounding. So then they built this absolutely massive super stack because back in the day, it was dilution is the solution to pollution was the engineering stance. So you build a higher tower and it blows the pollution more dispersed. So then it's not a problem. Obviously that doesn't work. So there's been a huge push for scrubbers and reduction of SOx in the air and NOx and all of these endeavors to reduce the impact on the environment as well as replant the entire area. So now it's hugely green. It's a beautiful place. There's lakes, there's fish. It's fantastic. When we were up there, it doesn't look at anything like the pictures that I was shown before I went up. So there is this massive push towards that change, which makes it more complicated and more expensive, but worth doing. So
absolutely. And I think in Alberta, we definitely can understand that as well with some of the things that are going on.
exactly.
Do you have any advice or tips for youth who would be interested in going either into sort of the mining industry or even into the more general international business industry?
Sure. Yeah, I think really building the connections is the number one thing. People will say that the school that you go to or the program that you study is the most important. I don't think that's true. There is a minimum set of hurdles and requirements to get into any job, right? So you have to have decent grades, of course. You have to have some work experience, but really a business degree for the most part is a business degree. And if you want to get into an industry, make those connections, talk to people, build up your skills to specifically target that role or that company or that job, and just get after it. Don't give up. There's a lot of rejection, but that's part of the deal.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's all my questions for today. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's really neat to get an insider look on kind of what business specific to the mining industry is and business on an international level is. Because you deal with clients, as you were saying, in I think Indonesia was one of the places. You had some in Canada, right?
Yeah, in Canada, and then New Caledonia and Brazil.
Awesome. And do you have meetings with those clients all the time as well?
Yes, and I get to practice my terrible French with the New Caledonia guys. So no, it's really good.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And if anybody wants to reach out and ask me any follow-up questions, more than happy to be there for that.
Perfect. So as Devon said, if you have any questions, feel free to submit those on our website. Or if there are enough questions for Devon, we might even book a follow-up Zoom session, depending on how many questions we have. Otherwise, we're going to be posting videos all week. So stay tuned. And yeah, thank you.
Perfect.